light. Shadows creep and crawl with every scream. Hear the echoes call. Synths and guitars in a haunting blend. An 80s vibe where the terror transcends. Shocktoberfest, scream until dawn. In your nightmares, the terror's reborn. Lights flash, monsters take flight. Embrace the darkness. It's a metal night.
Hey everybody, Wildman Wes here, and welcome to day 23 of Shocktoberfest 80s Rewind. Today we're going to be delving into the dark comedy of 1987 with Blood Diner. This movie starts off with two boys, Mikey and George, who find out that their uncle Anwar has escaped from prison, and he gives them a medallion to one day resurrect the spirit of an Egyptian goddess Shitar, who is responsible for blood feasts and also a lot of sacrifices. Well, the cops show up and Uncle Anwar doesn't live to tell the tale. We fast forward 20 years later and Mikey and George are digging up their Uncle Anwar's grave because they want to get his brain. Well, they succeed, and their Uncle Anwar's brain is talking to them after it is wired up to a device, and he tells them that they need to get the blood feast going by sacrificing virgins, and they are able to successfully dispose of people while they run a health restaurant. And it's the greatest restaurant for health services of all time in that town, but what people don't realize is they're using human flesh in their food. Irony, isn't it? Yeah, that's irony. One way that Mikey and George are able to get some of their sacrifices is by eliminating a group of girls during a fitness music video, dressed in Richard Nixon masks and having long-distance hole punchers. They succeed in their mission, and they start chopping the bodies up, and eventually they need to get a following for this blood feast, because not anybody's just going to come to a blood feast on their own. No. They go into a wrestling match, and Georgie wrestles a man that's, for lack of a better phrase, dressed as Adolf Hitler, and you can't make this up. You can't. It is just... Oh man, I'm losing my mind. We're already going into past the 2/3 mark, and man, and I thought Hard Rock Zombies with the moment of that Hitler was pretty crazy. No, this takes the cake. Eventually, Georgie beats the wrestler. I can't keep a straight face. Okay, so Georgie beats the Hitler wrestler, he gains a following, they all go to the blood feast and they start to become zombies, and Shitar is awakened. Well, while Shitar awakens, some of the people at this party realize that this has gone too far, we need to get out of here, and people start being eliminated. Eventually the police show up, Mikey gets caught in the crossfire and doesn't survive, meanwhile George is fed to Shitar, and something doesn't settle well with Shitar, and she explodes. While the police are coming to investigate the rest of the bodies, as well as trying to interview some of the people that have broken free from this supposed zombie curse of being followers to Shitar, we see a woman in red getting into a car, and it turns out to be Shitar. That's the movie. That's the movie in a nutshell. This is a little bit more than an abridged version of My Best Friend is a Vampire, but we're going to move into what I like and what I don't like about this film. What I like about this film, there is a lot of humor and also this kind of social commentary and irony about this health food restaurant that is supposed to be non-meat, but yet in actuality they're using human flesh. It's just, it's very, very ironic in a way that people don't know that they're eating flesh of other humans. And it's very cute and charming, especially for the horror genre. The special effects when it comes to the bodies being dismembered, it is very hokey, but at the same time, it's very funny and hilarious. It is very reminiscent to a trauma film, because in a lot of the trauma films, some of the violence and the death scenes are very over the top, but you can honestly and very much see that the special effects are not high-end budget like a standard Hollywood film. This movie does tend to have a little bit of pacing issues where we do get some scenes where archaeologists are talking about Sheetar and realizing that the sacrifices are going to happen, the ritual is going to happen where Sheetar will be brought back to life. However, it's very few moments, and at the same time, it's not really necessary because we don't really see these characters other than in segue moments, and they don't really have any purpose other than just adding to other people that know the knowledge and the history of this supposed goddess that's going to wreak havoc on a town. There is a disclaimer at the beginning of the film, which is very reminiscent to Texas Chainsaw Massacre about things of saying this was based on a true story and oh, don't do these things at home, don't eat human flesh. It's cute, but the disclaimer just kind of went off the rails a little bit because we know what they were trying to do, but at the same time they went too far. And when I say they went too far, I'm not saying it like it's like, oh my gosh, that was horrible. It's just kind of, okay, I see where you're going with, okay, pull it back, you're losing us here. When Mikey and George are building Sheetar up, they have to use the body parts of these women that they've disposed of to make a body. And it's very reminiscent of Frankenhooker, and it's kind of funny and charming at the same time. I went, it's been done before. It's been done before. Now we get to talk about the elephant in the living room. We're going to be talking about fan service in this movie. Now, in horror movies, especially horror comedies, fan service sometimes is necessary. However, we've talked about something being too much of a good thing. This movie, yeah, they used it a little bit more than what was needed. And like I've said before, hey, it's fun to watch sometimes, especially if you're, a young kid that isn't really supposed to be watching this movie and going, boobies. Yeah, eventually you're just going to get desensitized, and that's never a good thing. Now it's time to grade this film. There is an equal balance of things that I like and things that I don't like. And when it comes to rewatchability, I could watch this again, especially if I've got friends that talk about horror movies from the 80s and specific ones that made them go, man, this was really out there. This is one of those movies where you're going to be like, oh, you think that one movie was crazy? You gotta see this one. And that's why the grade is going to be a little higher than what I thought in the beginning after I watched the movie. The grade I'm going to be giving this one is a C-, because I was going to give it a little bit lower of a grade. However, the more I looked into it and the more I realized that they were doing something that wasn't even really a nod or a ripoff. This movie definitely had, I wouldn't say an original idea, but it was something that was different. And there are movies out there that are different to where some of us as horror fans will go, I don't know how I feel about that one. They missed the mark. This one wouldn't necessarily have missed the mark. It's just there's some pacing moments that you go, okay, I gotta go do the laundry now, but I'll just hit pause. And that's the reason why the movie got hit so hard for this. And that's why the C- is the best grade I can give it right now. Well, we hope you enjoyed this review on Blood Diner. If you've seen this movie and you agree with me, leave a thumbs up. If not, I totally understand. You can leave a thumbs down, or if there's things that you liked that I might not have liked, put it in the comment section below. I really am interested to see what all of you have to say about these movies. I'm a huge horror movie fan, and even with movies that I may not like as much as other people do, it's nice to have one of those discussions where we can kind of come to terms and find middle ground of why a movie isn't as bad or as good as what we once thought. Other than that, make sure you share on social media, but most importantly, let's push that subscribe button to get this channel up to 500 subscribers before 2026. Also, make sure you ring that bell for instant notifications so you don't miss out on anything from Shocktoberfest to Worst State of Movies to Game Central Station and even our beer review episodes of What's Your Poison. Until then, I'm Wildman Wes, and we will see you next time for day 24 of Shocktoberfest 80s Rewind. Take care, and as always, stay scared, kiddies.